Niacin's expanding therapeutic profile now includes a powerful anti-inflammatory dimension, particularly relevant in the context of atherosclerosis, where chronic inflammation drives disease progression and plaque vulnerability. Among the most critical pro-inflammatory mediators in this process is interleukin 1-set IL-1-set, a cytokine that orchestrates immune cell recruitment, endothelial activation, and extracellular matrix degradation. This study demonstrates that niacin significantly reduces IL-1-set expression and secretion in macrophages exposed to oxidized LDL, reinforcing its role not just as a lipid-clearing agent, but as a regulator of vascular inflammation. IL-1-set is primarily produced when the NLRP3 inflammasome is activated, a process tightly linked to intracellular cholesterol dysregulation. When macrophages ingest large amounts of ox-LDL, the resulting cholesterol accumulation in lysosomes can form crystals, physically damaging the lysosomal membrane and triggering the release of cathepsins. This, in turn, activates the NLRP3 inflammasome, leading to the cleavage of pro-IL-1-set into its active form and promoting its secretion into the vascular microenvironment. Niacin interrupts this pathway at a fundamental level by enhancing cholesterol trafficking and lysosomal homeostasis. Through the upregulation of CD38 and subsequent production of NAADP, niacin mobilizes calcium from lysosomes via TRPML1 channels. This calcium signal activates liver X receptor alpha, LXRA, which drives the expression of NPC1, ABCA1, and ABCG1, transporters that clear cholesterol from lysosomes and out of the cell. By relieving the lysosomal cholesterol burden, niacin prevents the membrane damage and inflammasome activation that would otherwise lead to IL-1-set release. In both in vitro and in vivo models, niacin treatment consistently lowered IL-1-set mRNA levels and protein secretion in macrophages exposed to atherogenic stimuli. This suppression was dependent on the integrity of the CD38, NAP, TRPML1, LXRA signaling pathway, highlighting that the anti-inflammatory effect was directly tied to improved intracellular lipid handling rather than a secondary systemic response. Notably, niacin's ability to reduce IL-1-set was observed even in the absence of changes in circulating cholesterol, reinforcing the idea that its action is local, targeted, and mechanistically precise. This effect positions niacin as a valuable complement, or even alternative, to existing anti-inflammatory therapies aimed at the IL-1-set pathway. Drugs like canakinumab, a monoclonal antibody against IL-1-set, have demonstrated cardiovascular benefit, but they operate downstream of the inflammasome and require chronic immunosuppression. Niacin, in contrast, addresses the upstream cause of inflammasome activation, lysosomal cholesterol overload, thereby suppressing IL-1-set production through a root cause mechanism. This may provide a safer, more sustainable strategy for long-term vascular inflammation control. Moreover, the reduction in IL-1-set not only stabilizes existing plaques by limiting inflammatory cell infiltration and protease activity, but also slows the initiation and progression of new lesions. IL-1-set is known to promote endothelial dysfunction and leukocyte adhesion, setting the stage for early plaque formation. By dialing down this cytokine at the transcriptional and post-translational level, niacin exerts a broad anti-inflammatory effect that influences the entire trajectory of atherogenesis. In summary, niacin significantly suppresses IL-1-set expression in atherosclerotic settings by resolving the lysosomal stress and lipid accumulation that activate the inflammasome. This places it squarely within the growing field of immunometabolic interventions, nutrient-derived strategies that influence inflammation by targeting underlying metabolic imbalances. Niacin's dual action, clearing toxic cholesterol and silencing inflammatory signaling, confirms its place as a potent, well-rounded therapy for vascular protection, capable of addressing both the metabolic and immune drivers of cardiovascular disease.